All right, welcome back to the Range Minded Podcast. We are trying something totally different now. I got some different software for the computer, so I'm going to try actually doing video and audio again. So not only do you have to hear my beautiful sultry voice, you get to see the face I have, which was totally meant for audio only. Welcome back. My name is Steve. I'm excited to have you guys back here on the show. Hopefully you had a chance to listen to my interview on the Whiskey and Windage podcast. I'll link it to some other stuff. You can check it out on my social media page, the Range Minded Podcast media page, that is. It was a good time, and we're going to have those guys on the show eventually. I got to get them through the system a little bit. And the biggest reason is, I don't know if you guys have paid attention. So as I'm recording this is January 24th that we're recording this episode. And there's a little something happening that happens every year. It tends to kind of dissuade or keep people's attention that are in the 2A community. It diverts their attention to other places. And, well, it's called SHOT Show. I don't know if you ever heard of it or not. Okay, probably all of you that listen to this show or watch this show in this case, you probably have heard of SHOT Show, but maybe you haven't. Maybe you're confused about what all the hype's about, and you just don't know. Well, SHOT Show is the largest trade show as far as the firearms community is concerned. SHOT stands for Shooting, Hunting, Outdoors Trade Show. SHOT, right? S-H-O-T. Now, it happens in Vegas. They used to do it like every other year in Vegas, and then I think in Florida somewhere they used to do it. But then they ended up just settling in Las Vegas, which is fine. I like going down to Las Vegas and hanging out. Unfortunately, you've heard the story. I tried to get my ticket. It didn't work out. My buddy Magnet from Lion's Arms, he was working out a deal for me. I had a place to stay. I had a ticket. I just couldn't get down there, which is fine because I actually had some things I had to take care of at home. So things kind of work out. Anyway, that's besides the point. So SHOT Show, that's when all the movers and shakers get together. They rub shoulders, rub noses, and rub hopefully no other body parts. I don't know. There's lots of parties. There's lots of drinking that happens. I don't drink, so that doesn't matter to me. But a lot of good network connections are made at SHOT Show, which is good. It needs to happen in the community. It gives a chance for everybody just to say hi, make new friendships, look at all the new product that's coming out, which this year there's actually a lot of cool stuff that has come out at SHOT Show. But it happens every year. Not only that, there's patches, which obviously, I got to get used to my camera. Lots of cool patches there. A lot of those came from SHOT Show last time I went. And man, there's some good ones this year. And I'm trying to weasel my way into some, if you know what I mean. But anyway, SHOT Show is a ton of fun. And I actually am going through some major FOMO about not being able to attend this year. It is what it is, but I'm not missing next year. I'm absolutely going to hang out down there next year. In fact, this shirt came from SHOT Show last time I was there. Retro Rifle, best Hawaiian type shirts on the market. They're not a sponsor. You've seen me wear them before. Anyway, so at SHOT this year, there was and then this is just a small list of what's out there, but I decided to see what I could find, what new stuff is out there. And let's see, what did I find here? This is just a small list of guns that were introduced at SHOT this year. So the first one that pulls up on the list was the new Walther, but it's a steel frame, so it's a heavy gun. It's meant for shooting matches. I'm not a huge Walther guy. If you guys remember Mark back in the day, he was all about Walthers. It's a great gun, right? It's a great gun. They're made in Germany. At least the company's German. They're very ergonomic. They feel nice in the hand. I'm actually curious to feel what this one's like to shoot. I think a buddy to the show just picked one of these things up as well. So I'll probably get a chance to put one in my hands and feel it. But the nice thing about having a full metal frame gun, especially shooting competitions, is if you think about high school physics, right? The more mass you have in an object, the harder it is to get to move. With an all metal gun, that recoil has to move a heavier frame gun. It's less of the recoil that the shooter feels, which I'm sure this gun is going to be pretty nice. It's a 5-inch barrel, so it's nice and long, and it's already got the optics cut ready to go. Pretty sweet deal. They're a little expensive. Whenever you get to a composition Gotta slow down, chill out. Again, with this new software, I get excited. I see my face on my monitor. It's all sorts of fun. With this new steel frame gun, there also is a new price tag attached to it. Now, MSRP is at $1,900. It is a little steep. I get it. But that's MSRP. Normally, when they actually hit the stores, it's going to be a little bit less than that. My guess is to pick one of these up at your local shop, you're going to be around $1,500 to $1,700 would be my guess, but I don't know. They're supposed to be ready to go. They're supposed to be shipping. They're supposed to be pretty awesome. Here's one we already talked about, and we're not going to talk about again, is that Super Blackhawk in 22 Hornet by Ruger. I am actually really surprised that Ruger brought this gun out. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Obviously, they do a lot more market research than a little old podcast like I do. But a 22 Hornet really surprises me in a revolver. It is probably a pleasure to shoot, just a small caliber and lots of oomph and a pretty heavy gun. I think 22 Plinkster did a video on it. I never watched it. Excuse me, just because it doesn't appeal to me. That's not something that it excites me at any means. Let's see what else we got here. This one actually got me excited. So probably 2017, 2018. If you guys remember, Hudson came out. Hudson was a small company, and they came out with just one gun to the market, and they introduced it at SHOT Show. It was the Hudson 9. That gun really intrigued me. It was kind of a hybrid between a 1911 grip style and a striker fire pistol. So it's a metal frame gun, but it has some of the cues of a 1911. Super intriguing firearms. Problem is, when Hudson came out, they didn't have a lot of financial backing. It was just a family-owned company. Building and researching a gun and bringing it to a market is a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Unfortunately, the Hudson company couldn't really make it happen. Kind of like the car, right? The Hudson car. Maybe not quite as dramatic. But anyways, the gun, because there wasn't a lot of support for it, because it was a small company, and because it was a new design, they had some issues with the gun, and so it kind of just faded into the darkness. There are still some original Hudson 9s out there, but because they're such a small company, because there's not a lot of aftermarket support, getting parts is pretty tough. And I guess they were kind of prone to having some issues breaking down in certain places. I don't know. I never owned one. I always wanted one. I thought they were sweet. Honestly, I don't even know if I got to shoot one. I might have. I can't remember. Anyway, so they kind of faded off in the darkness. Well, a few years later, here we are at SHOT 2024, and Daniel Defense brings out what? The Daniel H9, which is the Hudson. It is the absolute same thing. The nice thing about the Hudson pistol, and now the Daniel H9, is that they put the recoil spring so low, it brought the bore axis down a little bit lower too. So it is a pleasure to shoot. And guess what? It's a metal frame gun, and I believe it's also striker fired. So it's a neat gun. I'm glad to see Daniel was able to pick up that design, and I'm hoping that they worked out all the kinks and bugs, and it's going to be something that's fantastic. It's all aluminum. It has a 15-round capacity, so you got good capacity, kind of like the Glock 19, right? About that same capacity. The price tag is maybe a little steeper than you might be thinking, but it's still not bad. It's right around $1,300 MSRP. So I'm imagining you're going to get this gun at your dealer around $900, maybe just under $1,000 right there. But if you're a 1911 guy, but you don't want to be a boomer, this is a great option. It's got the 1911 style grips, very similar like grip scales, but the grip angle is the same. And so it's going to feel very comfortable to shoot. I would love to get my hands on one of these Daniel H9s. I would love to try one of these out. Hopefully we can make it work out. It's a super cool gun, and I'm glad to see that it made it back to the market. Super cool. Another gun that, and this is, like I say, there's so many guns that get brought out at SHOT. This is just a very small list. And next year when I go, mark my words, I'm going to go. I'm not going to miss another shot. We're going to talk about a lot more. We're going to be able to go booth to booth. We'll look at stuff together. But in this case, this is how you get to deal with me with shot. So Staccato, right? Staccato is, I wouldn't say the Ferrari of 1911s or 2011s, but it is definitely upscale. And you're definitely paying for the price when it comes to Staccato. And they reintroduced, or not reintroduced, but they brought to the market the Staccato C, which is a little bit more compact model. Now, if you've ever shot 2011s, which is a double stack 1911, it's kind of sweet, right? You got the capacity of a double stack. Also, the frame is going to be a polymer, but the slide is obviously metal. So you're getting a little bit of both worlds. You're getting the 1911 feel, the 1911 controls, but you're getting the reliability of a striker fire type rifle handgun. It's not a striker fire though. It is a 1911 style pistol, but it's got ambidextrous controls. By the way, it's not ambidextrous, so don't say that. It drives me absolutely bonkers. Ambidextrous, okay? It's it's ambi controls. But it's got a polymer grip, a polymer frame with a great stippling, so lots of control. Now, Staccatos are more of like a race gun, a high-level, good feeling, good running gun. So you're going to be paying a premium when it comes to Staccato. Now, from what I understand, Staccato is what STI used to be. Now, if it is STI, oh man, fantastic race guns. They really were the Ferrari. I have not shot a Staccato yet. Don't get me wrong. They are sexy guns, and I would love to get my hands on one and put one in my gun safe because they are absolutely beautiful. The Staccato C has a 4-inch barrel. The grip frames are going to work out for you. Just, it's the same size grip frame. Looks like the frame is a little bit wider than the CS. So it adds a little mass. It is optic ready, but here's the kicker, right? They don't have MSRP on this gun yet. That tells me it's a lot of money. Staccatos aren't cheap. This Staccato C is just going to be running with the rest of the pack. Get out your checkbook because you're going to be paying a little bit extra for that cute little star on the grip. Let's see here. I know a lot of people are pissing on SIG. But they've been really amazing about bringing stuff to the market. They just brought up the 320-10 comp. I don't know much about this gun. I mean, it is a 320. They're milking that cow as long as they can. This is a 15-round magazine. It's going to feel the same as the other 320s. I have a sneaking hunch. But it's supposed to be a compact size. It is a 10 millimeter though, which is kind of cool. So now they're jumping on the bandwagon that a lot of other companies have been doing for a while, and bringing out their striker fired in 10 mil. Now this MSRP is $950. Do with it what you may, but it looks like it actually comes with the Delta Point optic already mounted on the slide. So that's pretty cool. Next one down on the list. This one is intriguing me a lot. Now, despite what you might think, I do love my striker fires. You probably watched my video, just the last video where I was talking about my Glocks. I love my Glocks. They treat me well. They work when I need them to work. But it doesn't mean I don't like a quality 1911. Now listen to me. I know there's a lot of folks out there that poop. Man, I just pinged out, didn't I? That really poop on Springfield arms. But their 1911s, for a good price, you're getting a great gun. And they just came out with another one, the TRP, in the Desert Tan. Now this gun is good looking. I don't know how to screen share, so it's not going to happen. You're just going to have to look it up for yourself. But the Springfield TRP, it is in 45, which is fine. I mean, that's a 1911. But it is a good looking gun. I know it's a 1911, but 5-inch barrel. It's got like a coyote color Cerakote finish. It's a good looking gun. All right, here's the problem that I have though. It is still a Springfield. Yeah, I know it's a 1911, but it MSRP's out at $2,000, which is a little steep. We'll see what it actually goes for when it hits the market, or if it's already in the market. I'm sure it's going to be less, but that's still a little bit of money. And I don't know if I'm comfortable spending $2,000 on a regular 1911 from Springfield. I can buy a lot of nice 1911s that are hand fit for that price. Oracle came out with their little guy. It is just a 320. Like, I know they're not going to want people to hear that, but it's just a SIG that's dressed up. I'm not terribly excited about it. It is what it is. Their design take on it, it's nice. It's a good looking gun, but you can tell it's just a SIG, and I'm not terribly crazy about it. Mac came out with a 1911, but it's going to be $1,100. I know I talked about my Glocks. I love my Glocks, but they just brought their G29 and Gen 5. Not that exciting. It's a Glock. Taurus jumping in the 10 mil game with their hammer fired. What are they calling this? The TH10. Oh, that's a catchy name. It's a polymer frame hammer fired 10 mil. Kind of nice. It is a double single action, which is great. 15 round mag. And at least, I know it's Taurus, take it as you will, but MSRP is $531, so you're probably going to be able to pick this gun up $450, $500 at the gun store. It's a Taurus. I don't know how it's going to handle the 10 mil explosion in the barrel. Hopefully it doesn't blow up the entire gun. Who knows? Taurus is starting to step up their game. I still have my reservations. I don't know what Smith & Wesson is thinking on one of their introductions to this handgun, this crazy handgun market. They rebooted the SD9. I was not impressed with the SD9s back in the day, but whatever. This one, it's striker fired. I mean, it's kind of like a Glock. Let's be honest. Striker fired 16 round, 4-inch barrel capacity, or 4-inch barrel, 16 round capacity. MSRP is $350, and it does have a rail on the frame, so you can mount a laser or light or whatever. I have issues with the SD9. I'm sure it's a great gun, but why? Right? Why? I don't know how to say that. Hammerelli. I don't know if I said that right. They came out with a 22 in 1911. Whoop-de-doo. TISAS, the Night Stalker, which is kind of looks like a polymer frame 1911 or 2011. It's actually kind of a cool looking gun, and it runs 2011 magazines. $960 MSRP, but it is it's kind of a cool looking 2011. It's all right. SIG dropped the P322 comp. I've heard bad things about the P322. I don't know much about it. I've never shot one, but at least now you got one that's got a compensator, an optic, and an extended magazine. And it's $650. So if that's what you want to spend your money on, that's cool. Anyway, that's just a few of the handguns that have come out at SHOT Show this year. There's way more. I mean, way more. It's impossible for me to talk about them because I'm not there. So we'll be seeing more of that stuff as it comes out. Man, I gotta sneeze. Whew. All this talking. All right. Let's shift gears a little bit. I gotta take a deep breath here because this one's gonna get me a little wound up. This comes out of the UK. This is their Evening Standard. So as I was perusing, doing some show prep, wondering what I was going to be talking about tonight, this story pops up, and I've heard rumblings about this before, but I decided I'd read this and figure out what the hell's going on in England. Here's the headline to the story. Again, this is from the Evening Standard. Now, I'm probably going to be reading a lot of this story, not all of it. I don't want to get in trouble for copyright or whatever. But it's a zombie knife crackdown launched by Home Office with plans to ban dangerous weapons. Now, as I read through this story, I was quite surprised to hear some of the same words that we hear from the gun control community in this country. It's almost like they're using the same strategies. So anyway, long story short, in the UK, they're having this issue with zombie knives. So you're probably no stranger to what's going on over there. They banned guns a while ago, thinking that would stop murders, but it didn't stop murders. It made it slow down shootings, but violent crime did not change. In fact, it probably went up. I don't know. I don't have the statistics in front of me. The UK doesn't. I don't look at the UK statistics, so that's just the way it is right now. We'll probably do a little bit deeper dive on that someday. But anyway, so they've banned the ability for people to defend themselves. It's a big deal if you defend yourself. I know it is in Australia, but I don't know what it's like in UK. But if you use violent force to defend yourself, you could be in trouble. But the problem is what we're having now in the UK is they're bringing, like, kids are showing up with machetes, basically, that they're calling zombie knives. And I'm still not quite sure why they're called zombie knives. There must have been some kind of a... Well, they're saying it's a loophole. That's great video, great audio. You'd watch me yawn. There's, well, that's what they're calling it. Look at this loophole, outlawing deadly weapons with an amendment to the Criminal Justice Act. So 1988, so they started cracking down with scary, dangerous things in the 88. But these blades were first banned in 2016. So they were hoping that all this stuff would stop, dangerous knife sales would stop, knife crime would stop, but for some reason it's going up. Almost like criminals don't care what the laws are. It's kind of interesting. So as I read through this article, there was they keep calling it a loophole. So whatever it is with these knives, that's either branding or something, there's something missing or something on these knives. I can't remember. I was watching another video about this. It's been several weeks ago, that there's something that's not on these knives, and I'm pretty sure it was some kind of branding that made a loophole for these to be sold legally in the UK. And what's happening is thugs are getting a hold of them, and they're hacking people with them. Like, I can't imagine getting stabbed with a machete or being attacked with a machete, but it's happening quite a bit. So let's see. So the Homeland Secretary, so it's like Homeland Security, I'm guessing it's their version of Homeland Security or some kind of a national security thing. And this is, who is this? I don't know who this is. I'll read his quote, though, or her quote. I don't know who it is. When I became Home Secretary, I made an immediate decision to go further to put it forward this secondary legislation to support what we've already done to make the possession of zombie knives illegal and close that loophole. I'm so very pleased that we are taking action now. We'll be determined to get these knives off the street. Now, does this sound familiar? Like, if we just didn't replace the word zombie knife with AR-15, it's the same rhetoric, right? Almost like criminals don't care. We cannot let them be sold to children. We must give young people a way out of violence. I got an idea. There's actually an answer to the problem later on in this story. So as you read through this story, there's a lot of there's actually a few videos and a few pictures of violent knife crime taking place. But when you scroll down, it talks about this story. Let's see, where was it? Blah, blah, blah. Let's see, now I couldn't mark it because it's on the internet. So basically what happened is this young man was seen with a knife. He gets in trouble. They take the knife away. The next day he comes up with another knife and he kills another kid. So instead of like prosecuting, like following through on any kind of law, which I'm sure they have some kind of law that already exists, instead of following through with that law or putting the kid in jail or holding him some way of holding him responsible, they book him, they let him go, he gets out, he just gets another knife. It's not a knife problem. And I don't know, they probably do know this because it's all part of the same agenda. It's not about the freedom or the safety of the people. It's about taking away something and they're using the violence as an excuse, right? The knife is just an excuse to take away what kind of liberty or what kind of defense they have. They're talking about crazy knife legislation, like kitchen knives, like it's a mess in the UK. Oh, and by the way, as I read through this, it talks about, let's see if I can find the murder statistics. Let's see, they were up here a little bit. The toll marks a 50% increase on the 14. Yeah, some of their writing is weird. I'll just read it directly. The toll marks a 50% increase on the 14th in 2022, but it is short of the 2021, the worst year on record, with 30 youngsters lost their lives. So, let's see. In Croydon, a fatal stabbing of Elaine Adam, 15, shocked the community after she was attacked on her way to school in September. Okay, it's awful. Like, things are happening when they shouldn't be happening to these kids. Let's see. Oh, here's the numbers. The latest metropolitan figures, so we're talking the Met area, so London, shows that 3,764 people were stabbed across London in the year to December of 2023. So all year long, up to December, around 10 a day, 10 stabbings a day. Okay. Now those weren't necessarily deaths. Let's see. The last year, officers probed 110 murders in the capital, one more than. Well, I love their math. This is exactly how it's written in this sentence. Last year, homicide officers probed 110 murders in the capital, one more than 109 in 2022. That's pretty good math. They should probably talk to their dentist to see if he can figure that kind of math out too. 71 of those 110 were committed by a knife. By the way, there were shootings in London, but they don't want to talk about that, right? It's almost like the criminals don't care what kind of tool is used. I would really be curious to see. Now, this is just in London. There's maybe more out. Now, I know you can say, well, that's only 110. That's only 110 murders in London. And you can go to Chicago, and that's a Friday night. Sure, that's hyperbolic, but you get what I'm saying, right? It doesn't matter. 110 is too many. It's not the knife, it's the killer. It's just like in the States, it's not the gun, it's the murderer. What are they doing to stop the murderers from acting out and doing it again? If it's like what they're doing in New York, where they stop, they arrest, and they do same-day bail or no bail, they're just letting them out and letting them do it again. There's got to be something a little bit more, but they can't. I don't know. We're not going to get into that part. I just found it interesting that this should come across my feed. Those dang zombie knives are super scary, and they're killing people. The knives are killing people. Not the murderers, but the knives. And it's the same rhetoric that we get here in the States when it comes to them wanting to ban our guns. All right, here's another story that's come across, and I did find this story. Now, we shared a Vox story a few weeks ago, and Vox always has fine, upstanding, and fair journalistic characteristics in each story. The headline of this story is what made me want to read it. A new Supreme Court case threatens to take away your right to protest. Now, that could be a big deal because that is a First Amendment right, is it not? So as we read through this, it talks about this guy, DeRay Mckesson. Now, Mr. DeRay, he decided he was going to organize a peaceful protest during the Black Lives Matter deal, right? This was in Baton Rouge. Now, we know all those Baton Rouge protests, they were just peaceful protests. Ignore the fires, ignore the violence. It's just a protest. But those damn J6 people, that is a big problem, right? Anyway, so Mr. What's his name? McKesson. There we go. Maybe I should learn how to read. So Mr. McKesson when he organized this protest in Louisiana, he decided, and you don't learn this till way down at the bottom of the article, but they decided that they were going to go from whatever city center they were in, that they were going to start walking down the roads, causing issues, and then get on a freaking highway. Okay, they were starting to obstruct traffic. So here we are. That's actually a felony in the state of Louisiana. So there's a problem there. But here's the big problem. One of the protesters, they're not sure if it was a brick or a rock. It was probably a brick because they seem to show up during those peaceful protests. And they threw this brick and they hit a cop, almost killing him. Okay? Now, the problem is, the story is what is breaking down is McKesson got sued for organizing this peaceful protest where a cop was almost killed. Now, they didn't name the cop. In fact, it talks about this court case. They called him John Doe versus McKesson. Now, they're saying that protest, which was really a riot, was peaceful, yet it almost killed somebody. And if you look at the history of those true violent protests, there were lots of people killed. It happened across the country. So anyway, Mr. McKesson is being sued because he organized the riot and somebody almost lost their lives. So really what it is, this case has nothing to do with your right to protest. Nothing. That's a constitutionally guaranteed amendment right, okay? Is in the First Amendment, it's given your right to protest. It is not given a right to riot. It is not given a right to be extremely disobedient, causing traffic issues, and then trying to kill a cop, and then saying, I didn't do it. It was somebody else. Why am I responsible for them? Because you started the riot, you dummy. Now, hopefully they've caught the person. I don't know if they apprehended this person that tried to kill the cop. But why are you trying to kill a cop? Oh, that's right, because you don't like the police. Here's the problem. There's no court case, Supreme Court case, trying to take your right away. What it is doing is holding people accountable. 0 police people, men and women, were killed on J6. 0. None of them lost their life as a direct result of anything that happened on that day. Yet we know that all through those BLM riots, lots of people lost their lives. Look at Chaz. How many people were raped in that beautiful safe haven of Chaz in Washington? Look it up. There was no peace there. It was chaos. Chaos is not a guaranteed right. But again, Vox is really good at at misrepresenting reality. I'll share all these in the show notes. The zombie knife article and this beautiful Vox article. You can read for yourself and tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. I could be way off. But here's the reality. Here's something that I want you to do, is not take my word for it. Not take Vox's word for it. Go on a journey. Look at where they cite all these articles. Look at the aftermath of the BLM riots. Look at the aftermath of J6. And don't just believe anything that you hear. Do the research yourself. We've talked about this a million times. That's the only way that you're going to come to an honest conclusion, by doing your own research. Oh, which, by the way, apparently that's like MAGA or something too. I don't know. I don't get it. But it's you're believing into some kind of rhetoric. I don't remember that article. I was looking at it the other day. I don't remember where it is. But somebody, I can't even talk about it because I don't know for sure where it's at. But apparently doing your own research is frowned upon nowadays. You just have to trust the media. Don't trust anybody. Do your own research, because that's when you're going to find the truth. And that's all you need to do. Anyway, that it's kind of a short show. I don't know what else we want to talk about. Is there anything? Let's see. What crazy things are happening that we can talk about? I'm still waiting on patches, but they are coming. I promise you, they are coming. It takes a little bit. And you'd be surprised. You mention the word patch on Instagram, and suddenly you get bombarded by all these patch makers throughout the world. They're saying, yeah, I can make you a patch. I can make you a patch. I got an instant message from somebody that barely typed anything into comprehensive English that I didn't make any sense to me, but if they're willing to make patches, I'm not going to use them. I don't know who they are. They shared a bunch of videos. I don't even know if those patches that they shared to me are even their patches. I don't know. There's no website link. I found a guy that's going to do it, and they're going to be working on them. They're coming. But I need to know if you guys would be interested in hats or shirts or anything like that as well. I have a whole bunch of patch designs that I want to do. We've already talked about that, but that kind of gets expensive. That's why I need to know if you guys are willing, to jump on the swag wagon. Anyway, what else is coming up? Yeah, I'm working on some guests for the show. I've got a few. I want to get the guys from Whiskey and Windage on. They were a ton of fun. I'd love to get them on this show. I've got some other dudes that I want to get on the show. I'm working on a trip to get over there to meet Joey over at Federated Ordnance in the Boise Valley. I think they're in Napa or Caldwell, somewhere over there. If you don't know what Federated Ordnance is, look it up. I'm excited to get into their facility and walk around. Hopefully they'll let me take pictures and do like a walk and talk interview. That'll be a ton of fun. And there's some other dudes over there I need to touch base with. That's about it. Guys, I really appreciate your time. Hopefully you enjoyed these long form videos. If you're used to the podcast, it's not going to be much different. But it's been a pleasure. And I hope that the audio works. It took me forever to get this audio figured out, by the way. It's been kind of a nightmare. But it's still fun. Anyway, I hope you guys are being safe. Make sure that if you're carrying a gun, that you're confident with that gun. Make sure you get in classes, get some good training. There's tons of reputable trainers not far from wherever you live. Get good, solid training. Okay? Don't just stop at a concealed carry class and say, yep, I'm done, I'm ready to go, because there is so much more to learn. You need to be a forever student. I need to go take a class. It's been a while since I've taken a good solid class. I know what class I want to take. I'm just hoping I can get in there because they're filling up all the time. Well, we're going to work on some more gun content. I would love to be able to do some reviews and show off some stuff. I've come up with an idea for a video series that I think would be fun. We're going to talk about some older guns, not the new stuff, because everybody talks about new guns, but nobody really talks about used guns. It's not something that's very prevalent out there. I know there's some channels talking about it, but I think it'd be kind of fun to go through some of the used stuff. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. If there's anything that you wanna hear about on the show, just shoot me a message. You can get a hold of us at the Range Minded Podcast. Obviously, you can find us on all of our social accounts. Range Minded Podcast on Instagram, Range Minded Podcast on Facebook, on Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called. Honestly, the fastest way to do it is either jump on the website, rangemindedpodcast.com, and there's all those links to those socials. There's a way to message at the podcast website as well. Or you can jump on Linktree, or you can jump on Patreon. All those are linked there, so at least they should be. I'm pretty sure they are. Anyways, appreciate you. I love you guys. If you want to support the show, the biggest and easiest way to support the show right now would just be to share it with your homies. Okay, share it with your friends. We need to grow the community. We're pretty small still. It was an eye opener when I was on Whiskey and Windage. We've been doing this show since 2018. That's a while, and I mean that's 6 years, and it's time to take this show far beyond what it is. So share it with one of your friends. That's all I ask you. Share it with one of your friends. If you like to see more content that costs a little bit more money, I'm not going to say no to a little bit of Patreon action. I'd appreciate it if you could. Not a big deal if you can't, but it does help the show. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it does help. Again, just shoot us a message on our website, rangemindedpodcast.com. You can find us everywhere from there. Love you guys. I want you to be safe. I want you to understand how to be dangerous, but then learn how to control it. That sounds scary, right? No, it's not. Also, as always, I need you to take somebody shooting. Let's expand this firearms family. It's a great community, and we need to grow it. 2024 is a great opportunity. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a rough year, but it's going to be such a year. It's going to be so full of opportunities, and we need to take advantage of those. Don't despair. Just get out and enjoy it, okay? Love you guys. Don't forget, take somebody shooting. See you later.